Hey there, Courtney Adams here, and today we're going to talk about social media. So, this is kind of a broad topic, right? This can cover a lot. So, first, let's just define your different forms of social media. So, you've got Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat, but then you also have texting and email. Social media is any platform that is used to communicate with another human being without that in person connection, which is why it includes texting and emailing. So, social media is very broad, right? There's also all kinds of other different platforms LinkedIn, MeWe, so on and so forth. And the list is growing. So, to get us started, I want you to brain dump and think out what social media platforms is it that you have. And this is one of your call to actions in your handout is writing down what platforms you have. So, and then just simply kind of listing them out to get you going. And I want you to see the different forms of communication that you have that are not in person. And then part of your homework is that you're going to add to that list and you're going to detail out each different platform in ways of what does that platform look like for you? Is it useful? Do you gain anything from it personally or professionally? And what do the overall ideas of that platform for you and what you're using it for? Is that really working for you? Is that something that you're getting a benefit from? And is it something that you want to continue to utilize? Because what happens is when these new social media platforms come out, we all jump on board and then we kind of play around and we realize, this really isn't something for us anymore. But we feel like we need to stick it out and stick around to see what's going to happen. But if it's not bringing any kind of value to you personally or professionally, it's time to just let it go. Delete it, move on, and put your focus and attention onto something that's really going to help benefit you either personally or professionally. So think about what it is that you have and kind of start defining if that social media platform for you is useful. And that's one of your homework ideas is go through that list and figure out if it needs to go, if it needs to be refined, added to, updated, so on and so forth, and really start brain dumping out in detail what each of those platforms looks like. So social media came about in the early 2000s with MySpace, right? We all remember MySpace. And the initial idea of social media was to really be able to build an online community. The internet was huge, it was growing. People knew that this was the wave of the future. And they knew that they wanted to connect with people across borders in a way that had never been done before, hence social media. So it was used to build community. When Facebook came out, the whole idea of Facebook was to be able to connect people on Harvard's campus to help students come together. And whether it be to help them study or learn or whatever the case may be, it really just started as a way to build community within the Harvard School community campus. And it grew from there, right? Because when you first got Facebook, you had to have a college email to be able to get on. That community was strictly related to young professionals and college students. And so that's what that community started as. And it all started around building community and relationships and getting to know people that you might not otherwise have a chance to meet. That's what Facebook and other social media platforms started as community. After a couple years and after things kind of expanded from there and they outreached from just the college area, it kind of changed, right? We saw social media change, and some might say it changed for the better, some might say it changed for the worse, but I will tell you this, it changed. It became less about community and more about getting the word out there about different businesses. And it became very salesy for a while, wouldn't you say? I think we all can probably think of examples of how we saw for a while nothing but sales, and it lost that community vibe. The great thing, though, is that people got tired of seeing that, and it is slowly coming back around to building community. And that comes from people that are really passionate about that initial aspect of what social media was supposed to be, and that's community. And so, as a business owner on social media, you have the power and the influence to really be a part of that change back to its initial overview of what it was supposed to be. So when you're looking at your social media list, I've asked you to write down all of your social media platforms, how you use them, do they need to be deleted, updated, revised, so on and so forth. Are you utilizing that social media platform to build community? And if you're not, and you're not sure if you want to delete it, what do you need to do then to kind of change that platform to fit the idea of building community that influences everybody that you are a part of on that community platform, and that also helps you grow personally and professionally and helps the other people around you do the same? Social media is a huge part of so many businesses now. I mean, it is one of the biggest ways to impact through marketing. It has a huge reach and influence exponentially through one person being touched by what you've posted and it being shared and so on and so forth. It also has a huge reach and getting people drawn to your business that you'd never have access to because of where they are and where you are, and the differences in demographics between you and that potential customer. So, social media has tons of benefits. So, don't disregard all of it altogether. But what you want to make sure that you're doing is that you're being intentional and purposeful with your social media and how you're utilizing it. People say all the time, I'm so tired of social media and what I see and who's on it and what's being posted. And my first reaction is, it's your social media. You are in charge of what you see and what's being posted and what shows up on your feed. Put your foot down. If you don't like something, then change it. If you aren't a fan of seeing something over and over again, then you have the power to influence that. And that is where social media truly is powerful, because we have the ability to influence what we see, what's shared, and what is recognized on our feeds and by our feeds. So just because one thing doesn't work in social media, don't disregard all of it. Go back through and really sit down and be intentional and purposeful with what you're seeing and what is showing up, and really refine what is going on in each of the platforms that you're a part of. I'm a huge proponent of less is more. So I am only a part of 2 social media platforms, and one is utilized for business and the other I don't utilize it for business at all. It is simply to stay connected to a different generation than the other platform and to just keep up with different people. It is purely personal, but then the other one is utilized for both. And that is my choice. And when you've got less going on, you can really focus more quality attention on what you've got going on and really pour into it in a meaningful and purposeful way. And that's the whole point of social media, is to build meaningful community within a platform that you wouldn't be able to do in person because the reach and influence just wouldn't be there. So, as you're brain dumping out your list and as you're thinking about what you want it to look like, really be objective about it. You don't need to be a part of all the things. I promise you, FOMO is not going to exist. You're just not going to miss out on anything. And instead, be really intentional with how you're utilizing social media, what platforms you're using, so that you can intentionally grow what you have and see a return on that investment of your time in pouring into that social media platform. Okay, so my homework for you is you're just gonna, on your handout, it has right here, it has your question. So what forms of social media do I have? Which ones do I use consistently? And then brain dump out next to it. Are they bringing any kind of intentional purpose into my life in any form or fashion? And if they're not, should I just delete them, or should I just leave it alone for now and maybe kind of think on what I want it to look like? Which ones are bringing me intentional, purpose-filled productivity type of thing, so to speak? And if that's the case for that one, how can I kind of revamp it to grow it even more, to make it more intentional and to build more community? So social media is 100% up to you. You are in charge of your feed, what it looks like, what you post, what you see, take in, and receive. And so it's time to kind of get really focused and intentional with what we're doing with our social media so that we can take it back to its initial idea of building community. All right. Thanks for hopping on. I can't wait to have the discussion with you tomorrow. So make sure you join us over on my public page, and everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.